Hey everybody, it's Rob and Cam here again with First Friday's High-5. We have our special guest with us today, Michael Frantz. He is Senior Field Engineer for TRC Companies right here in Fort Wayne. We're excited to have you with us, Michael. How you doing?
Rob, I couldn't be better. If I was any better, I couldn't stand it.
It looks like you're coming to us from location, some random beach in the world, and we envy that.
Well, as long as the beach chair doesn't sink, we'll be all right.
All right. Well, we're going to ask you 5 questions, and I'm going to start out with Cam. Cam, go ahead, my brother.
I hate to ask this question, but I got to. So after a long day, and I see how you're distressing right now, what is one other way you're able to distress yourself after a long, stressful day as a leader?
Well, I'm very fortunate. I work from home, so I can just walk over the threshold. My wife's there with supper, and I sit down to supper, and I enjoy myself.
And not to mention the fresh blueberry pie that you told us about earlier.
It's still hot tonight, so I'm sure it'll be warm.
Oh, man.
A little a la mode.
Perfect.
Oh, okay. Question number 2. Who would you say would be a primary mentor that you've had in your life, Mike?
The primary mentor I had, which actually believed in me, and he's actually passed. He's in heaven now, so that can't talk too bad about him, right? But he actually thought that I could do it, and he introduced me to a book called How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Sure. I read that book, and I'm going, aha.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you for that, Cam.
Yeah. Mike, speaking of leaders, what is one thing that you look for when you are either mentoring someone or, actually when you're mentoring someone, what's one quality that you look for out of someone?
Well, I do a little bit of hiring.
Okay.
So one thing that I always look for is attitude. You have a hard time teaching people skills. You have a hard time teaching people to be really forward thinking, really positive thinking. Now I can teach them how to take this screw and put it in here, but it's really tough to teach people skills.
Absolutely. No, that's good. If you had one piece of advice, Mike, you've been doing what you do in energy conservation for years, and you've worked with a lot of different teams. You've been in charge of different teams. If you had one specific piece of advice that you would give a young up-and-coming leader that you could speak into, what would that be?
Well, I think number one, you got to have your life lined up with Jesus Christ, because that will get you further than anything else. And number 2, then I think you need to believe in your people, set expectations, not that you beat it into them, but that's what you expect out of them, and they will perform to your expectations. I guess number 3, I would say save a penny or 2. Because one of these days you're going to be old like me and you're going to want to be on the beach.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, the real beach. Yeah. Right. I mean, not that I'm saying that's not the real beach, Mike.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, that's actually great advice. And just real quick before Cam jumps into our 5th question, my wife and I were talking about that an hour ago. How that my grandfather, he always said, after you give your charity, or whether you're tithe or whatever your thoughts are on that, but give to yourself, pay yourself. That's what he used to call it. Pay yourself before you pay anybody else after that.
Yep.
And what ended up happening, of course, is he was able, because even after his passing, he was able to take care of my grandmother. And so, I wish I'd have learned that a lot younger. But anyway, yes, save a penny. I hear you, brother. I'm with you.
I actually teach young people how to buy a house, be in the house, and have it paid for in 5 years. And anybody can do it, but they don't particularly like my rules.
That's awesome, brother. Thank you.
Yes. So question 5. And so we talked about you being just the mentor, all the many hats that you wear. We talked about your travel for work. So one thing that we haven't talked about is your last breaking of bread. So if you could break bread with anyone, Mike, who would you pick?
Well, Jesus first, but I'm going to break bread with him one day.
Okay.
I think that time might be past, but you know, I suppose a Billy Graham or Mother Teresa. You know, those are two people that gave and gave and gave. They're going to have many crowns when they get to heaven.
Gotcha.
I hope I have a crown or two I can give away.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Mike. Wow.
Well, Mike, thank you so very much for taking time out of your day between here and the dinner table to come hang out with us. Really
and the blueberry pie.
Yes. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know what says ocean, like a nice beach background behind you and blueberry pie. Like there's nothing that can go wrong with that. I don't know. I'm envious, but you know, that's for a different First Friday's HI-5. But thank you so very much for hanging out with us. And this would not be a high five moment if we didn't actually do a high five. So are you gentlemen ready for this?
We're ready.
All right. So in 3, 2, 1, high five.
Guys. High five. All right.
Perfect.
Thanks, Mike.